The year 2019 for the Filipinos was such mixed emotion ride, from multiple governance problems to ending the year with the most earned medals in the 30th SEA Games. Families gather around their tables at the last page of the book 2019. Joyous people, laughter, and ear-shattering sounds surrounded the people as we welcome 2020 and looking forward to it for more opportunities to face. 12 days after the New Year, a troublesome event occurred in the Philippines.
Magandang gabi po Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Mahigit 5,000 na ang mga pamilyang iniligtas dahil sa pagputok at pagbuga ng abok, usok at lawa na bulkang Taang.
Ash falls from the said eruption resulted for the people to wear face masks for protection.
Nasa bilang na 10 kahapon, umabot na sa 20 ang kumpirmadong kaso ng coronavirus disease 2019 sa Pilipinas.
Community quarantine is hereby imposed in the entire of Metro Manila.
As months full of tragedy all around the world pass, face mask was worn again by the people, but not because of ashes, but a deadly virus.
Novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, is a pandemic that became a worldwide threat to the lives of all people. It attacks the respiratory system, making you have a hard time breathing and slowly pulling you closer to death. Medical officers stepped up to control and put an end to this pandemic, but their efforts, sacrifices, sweat and tears are not acknowledged as Filipinos doesn't follow the protocols. As of today, 532,516 cases are filled. 475,904 of them recovered, while 10,669 died fighting the virus.
With all this pandemic, it created a huge impact in every nation's economy due to lockdowns and quarantines. Infrastructures are closed, businesses are affected, and many jobs are lost, including Overseas Filipino Workers, or OFW.
With the COVID-19 pandemic bringing a significant portion of the global economy to a halt, Ang and Opiano estimated that 300,000 to 400,000 OFWs are affected by layoff and pay cuts, and some of them will require repatriation.
At the end of August 2020, there are now about more than 389,000 returning overseas Filipinos, around 60% of whom are land-based workers, coming from badly hit industries such as logistics, construction, and the oil sector, while the rest are sea-based. The once burgeoning Filipino middle class is often attributed to OFWs, who boost economic mobility by improving their family's income status just within a span of a year. The latest National Migration Survey finds that around 12% of all Filipino households have or had an OFW member. A study also revealed that 73% of OFWs are middle income, with most belonging to the lower middle income bracket. Benefit from the foreign remittances trickle down to other members of the community, including those who do not directly have an OFW member in the household. This is the breakdown of the repatriates traveling or transiting through the following regions. Middle East has 228,893 or 69.89% with an angle of 110 degrees. Asia and the Pacific has 36,868 or 11.26 with an angle of 40 degrees. Americas has 30,971 or 9.46% with an angle of 35 degrees. While Europe has 28,909 or 8.83% with an angle of 30 degrees. Africa has 1,870 or 0.57% with an angle of 4 degrees.
Our OFWs went back to our country, and many airlines with our Philippine government have issued precautionary measures, monitored protocols and requirements for every travelers, and continued to adjust its security operations during the COVID-19 global pandemic to prevent the virus being spread.
Many types of thermometers have been developed to measure body temperature.
tympanic, and forehead. Infrared thermometers are fast, convenient, and easy to use. Tympanic, on the other hand, due of not fully accurate and significant offsets, this cannot be used to screen fevers. Another thermometer called thermographic camera, also called an infrared camera, is used. It is a device that creates an image using infrared radiation. Airline and airport personnel are trained to do visual checks of anyone. They use different types of infrared thermometers to check the passenger's body temperature without a direct contact. But how does it work? Infrared thermometers uses a lens to focus infrared light from one object onto a detector called thermopile. The thermopile absorbs the infrared radiation and turns it into heat. This heat is turned into electricity. The electricity is sent to a detector which uses to determine the temperature. Thermal cameras more or less record the temperature of various objects by recognizing and capturing different levels of infrared light. Inside the thermal camera, there are a bunch of tiny measuring devices that capture infrared radiation called microbolometers, and each pixel has one. From there, the microbolometer records the temperature and then assigns that pixel an appropriate shade of color. Colder temperatures are often given a shade of blue, purple, or green, while warmer temperatures can be assigned a shade of red, orange, or yellow.
As a result of this pandemic, Filipino workers from different countries, including sailors, are forced to return to our country. They undergo the protocols, 14 days quarantine, swab tests, and other checkups.
First wave of this spreading virus was technically hard for everyone, especially for those who have relatives from other countries. According to various news, almost 389,000 of OFWs were transmitted back to the Philippines last August 2020. Held Filipino workers from the West was held back at the airports, while some of them find unemployed. Most of the OFWs who are now here in our country are unemployed and having a hard time finding a job. Some of them starts to create their small business, but nearly all of them are jobless. They are struggling to find a temporary job because their own country displaced them. After being stuck for almost 8 months, President Duterte associates with few countries about the issue of overseas Filipino workers. As a result of this, a big part of OFWs are back again but starts to find another job.
With all the hardships that this pandemic has brought us, there are plenty of realizations and lessons that we learned all throughout. And looking at the bright side, we are now tougher than before. The resilient Filipinos became more resilient. We are now stronger and ready whatever crisis may come. I am Christopher Quinto, together with Dhenise, Adam, Angelina, and Kerstine from 10 ARCHIMEDES.